Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Gadda. Today in this video, we are going to discuss how we can deploy our backend application on AWS. So what we are going to do is we are going to basically deploy our Spring Boot backend application on AWS with the RDS database. Okay, so we are going to the AWS console, try to create a EC2 instance where we can deploy our Spring Boot application. And for the database, we are going to create a RDS database on AWS and try to configure our database there. Okay, so that our whole application, our whole backend application will be working on the AWS itself. So this is what we are going to do today. So let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about what are the things required from the backend application. So we need to create a Spring Boot application with the CRUD operation, and the database that we are going to use is MySQL. So I already have created one Spring Boot application with the CRUD operation, and the database I'm using there is MySQL. There is a videos on my channel where I have discussed about the full stack web application development, where we are using the React as a front end, Spring Boot as a back end, and MySQL as a database. So from there, I'm going to pick or I'm going to clone the backend application and then try to locally run it and then show you how it is working. I will explain you about the CRUD operation that we have developed there, CRUD APIs that we have developed in that application. And then after that, we are going to deploy that same application on the AWS cloud. So that application has one Spring Boot application, and apart from that, that application also need a database connectivity, which is the MySQL database we are using there. So we'll move the database as well as this Spring Boot application on the AWS. So for that only, we'll require like for AWS we require AWS RDS. Sorry, for the database we require AWS RDS, and for a Spring Boot application we require EC2 instance. So these are the two resources we are going to create on the AWS to deploy our backend application. So let me try to come out of it and go to the channel, and here let if you will search for this React plus Spring Boot plus MySQL and my channel name, you will find that video. Okay, and there you can go. This is the one. And if you'll go downside and if you'll go into the description, you will find that this GitHub repository link for the backend application, and this is for the front end one. So we are only going to deploy the backend here, and in the upcoming videos, I will try to deploy the full stack application on the AWS. So as of now, let me try to clone this Git repository, or you can say the backend application in my local here, and then try to deploy it on the AWS. So if you'll let me try to go to this folders and I already have cloned it, but let me try to do a new one. So just create a folder here, let's say backend app, and let me try to open a command prompt here, and there I will clone this. So just run the command git clone and paste the URL that you copied from the GitHub. It will take few seconds and it will clone it out. So you can see that our backend application is being cloned here. Now let me try to close it and open the IntelliJ here, and we'll open this application on the IntelliJ. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. So if we'll go there to the file new, sorry, not to the open, and go inside this folder. Here I have created this backend app, and this is the application that we cloned. Just open it in a new tab, and Let me try to close out the other one. So just let me try to close it. Let me try to close this one. I'm not sure why it is time. Okay, it is closing. So just this is the application that we cloned, and it is doing some configuration, or you can say that it is resolving the dependency and trying to do the indexing here. So just wait, and if you'll go to the source, main, Java, and here you will find the folder structure that we have created for this application. So we have developed this application, and this is a basic Spring Boot CRUD application. Okay, and what we are doing here is we have created an entity called product, and this application is related to the product management. So we have created the CRUD operations here to manage the product. Okay, so we have created the operation to insert the product into the database, to get the product from the database, to update the product which is already existing into the database, and to delete the product from the database. So for all of those four operations, we have created the APIs here. So starting from the entity, this is the product entity. It has four attributes like ID, name, price, and the quantity. And if you'll go to the repository layer, we have the product repository, which is extending the JPA repository. And if you'll go to the service layer, we have the interface, product service interface, which has these five methods, and these are covering the CRUD operations. And if you'll go to the implementation of it, you can see that with the help of product repository, which is like extending the JPA repository, we are calling all the JPA provided method, like we are calling the find all method to find all the product from the DB. We are calling the same method to save the product into the DB. We are calling the find by ID method, and similarly we are doing the update and delete. Now this product service is being called inside the controller layer. So if you go to the product controller, you will see that we have auto-wired the product service here, and then we have developed the APIs for this CRUD operations. Like the first one is trying to find out all the product from the DB, and the second one is trying to insert the product into the DB. Third one is trying to find out the product from the DB based upon the ID. The fifth one is trying to update the product based upon the ID, and the fourth one is trying to update the product based upon the ID, and the fifth one is trying to delete the product based upon the ID. So these are the APIs that we have developed, which are covering the basic CRUD operation. And now if you'll go to the resources folder, and if you'll go inside this application.properties file, here we have did the configuration for the database connectivity. So we have provided the URL, which is like the database URL, and we have provided the username and the password of the database. And then these are other JPA configuration, and this is the port number on which our API, our application will be up and running. So as of now, let me try to remove this piece of code. And the default port for the Spring Boot is 8080. So our Spring Boot will be defaultly running on the port number 8080. If you don't put any like what I would say, if you don't put any custom port, the default port for the Spring Boot application is 8080. So if you run this application, it will be up and running on the port number 8080. Okay. So these are the basic uh, overview of the application that we have developed. If you want to develop, you can like there is a video on my channel how to develop the Spring Boot application with the CRUD operation. You can go and watch it out. I will provide the link of that video in the description. You can watch it out. Okay. And if you want to clone, I will provide the link of the GitHub repository for this application as well in the description of this video. You can directly go there and clone it out and then try to deploy it. So if you are going to clone it out, you have to provide your URL and username and the password for the database. Uh, and yeah, these are the like local URL and username and password. But we are going to replace this with the AWS provided URL, username, and the password. Okay, when we are going to create the RDS database on the AWS, we have to replace these fields with uh, the like URL provided by the AWS and the username and the password as well. So don't worry on those things. I already have the videos on my channel how to connect with the RDS database with your Spring Boot application. You can go and watch it out. So as of now, we are good now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this application and try to locally connect with our MySQL database and then try to see what are the results we are getting by hitting these APIs. Okay, so let me try to run this application and then open the Postman here. So just open the Postman and just wait for the Postman to be up and then application to be up. After that, we can hit our APIs. So here we are getting some errors. Okay, so this is because of Java version that we are using. So let me try to go there to the product project structure and here I am using Java 21 and in our application we have configured the Java 17. Let me try to go back to the Java 17 and try to use Java 17 as of now. So just run this application and then wait for a few seconds. So you can see that our application is up and running on the port number 8080 and this application will be connected to my product management DB on my local MySQL server and these are the username and the password I have provided, so it will be connected to that database locally. And let me try to, I already have couple of record inserted or you can say the product inserted inside the DB, so I will uh, try to hit this find all API and then see what we are getting. So if you'll go to the controller layer, you will find that we are setting the request mapping, which is API product. This is the class level mapping we are setting, and for the respective APIs, we are setting the additional mapping, or you can say URI. So you have to provide this class level mapping, and after that, you have to provide this additional URI to hit that particular API. So just come here and let me try to create a GET request, and here let's say, okay, it would be all. Our application is up and running on the port number 8080, which is locally. So I was testing out something on the AWS. So let me try to remove this localhost. So this would be our API. So what we are doing is our application is locally up on the port number 8080. So that is why we are setting this HTTP colon double forward slash localhost colon port number which on which our application is locally up and running, and then this is the class level mapping, and then this is the additional URI for the find all API. Now let me try to hit this and you will see that in the response we are getting this many products. You can see that we are getting the 15 products here. So these are all products that we have inserted in our DB. Now if you want me to show you where these products are coming from, let me try to open my MySQL here and then show you. So it will take few seconds of time, so don't worry on this. Once it will up, I will try to show you those things. So let me go to the connection one and now if you'll go there to this, what was the DB name? You have to go to this application.properties file and here you can see this is the DB name, product management DB. So come here to the MySQL and search for this product management DB. Here it is. Okay, it is selected. Inside this, there would be a table called product. You can see that. And let me try to run this query. So if you run this, you will find this 15 products are there. This is what we are getting in our APIs as well. Okay, you can just match it. Okay. So this is how our application is working as of now locally. Now what we are going to do is we are going to move this application on AWS. So what are the steps we have to do is we have to first move our database and then move our application. So to move our database on the AWS, we are going to create a RDS database on AWS. So just log into your AWS console and try to search for this RDS and just let it open. So here you have to create a DB. So just create a DB and choose a database creation method, standard create. Here you can choose the respective database that you want to create. So for in my case, I'm just going to use the MySQL here. So select the MySQL and go down. Here make sure that you're using the free tier, otherwise it will charge you. So just select the free tier. You can provide your database name here. So let's say it is engineering adda and this is the username. So if you'll go to this application.properties file, here you can see that the username is root, but here we are setting it as an admin. If you want to change, you can change it out. Now you have to provide the password here. So let's say the password I'm going to provide is password and you have to confirm the password. So let's say password again. Now you have to go down and go down. Make sure that you are selecting the public access, yes, and then go down. In additional configuration, yeah, you can see that this is the default port for the database, which is 3306. So don't change it out. Go to this additional configuration, and here you can provide the initial database name. So if you'll come here, you will find that this is the database name that we are providing. This is what it is asking here in the additional configuration initial database name. So if you want to provide this name, you can provide it out. Or if you want to, let's say, let me try to provide the database name as product DB. But make sure you remember these things. Okay. So product DB. This is the database name, and let me try to copy this somewhere. So just open a notepad. So just going to copy the database name as well as the other details, like this is the DB name and the username was admin and the password was password. Okay, and go down, and the port number was 3306. So let me try to note down that as well. 3306. Go down and go down and then create a DB. So it will take few second or few minutes of your time to create your DB. You can see that. Let me try to close this one. You can see that it's creating database. So just wait for few minutes or few seconds. It will create the database for you and then you can use it. So we are just leaving this as of now. Let me try to show you something. So if you'll go to this PPT, you can see that this is what we have to develop in our backend application. We have a database and then we create one Spring Boot application. We'll connect that application to the database and then we develop the CRUD operation there in our Spring Boot application. Now, when we are moving this whole application to AWS, the first thing that we are doing here is we are creating a AWS RDS database. And then we'll try to move our application that we have created with the newly configuration of the database. When I'm saying that newly configuration of the database, means I'm just going to configure this application with the newly created RDS database on the AWS. And then we'll try to create the jar out of this application and then deploy that jar to the EC2 instance. And then we'll get one public URL and then we can use that to hit our APIs. Okay. So then it will be like you have deployed your full backend application on the AWS. Okay. So the first step we are doing is we are creating the AWS RDS database, and then we'll connect this AWS RDS database application with the Spring Boot application deployed on the EC2 instance. Okay. And then this EC2 instance will give us a public URL where we can go and use our APIs that we have developed in our Spring Boot application. So this is the flow. Now let me try to go to the AWS again, and here you can see that it is taking some time. So don't worry on this. It will take few minutes of time. So again, let me try to go to this MySQL. So here you can see that I'm locally connected with my MySQL, right? Once we have created the database on AWS successfully, what I will do, I will try to connect this AWS RDS database in my MySQL workbench to see how our DB is looking like in the AWS. Okay, so I will try to connect with those URL provided by the AWS RDS in our MySQL workbench to show you how our DB is looking like in the AWS. And after that, what we'll do, we'll try to use those credentials provided by the AWS RDS in our Spring Boot application. Locally, we'll try to test it out first. And then if everything is working fine, we'll create the jar out of it with the RDS database URLs, username and the password. And then we'll deploy this jar to the EC2 instance on the AWS. So I'm explaining you the whole flow again and again. So don't worry on this. But yeah, uh, if we'll come here to this database, you can see that it is created successfully. Now you have to go to this database and you have to make some changes here. So if you'll come here, you will find that this is the endpoint and this is the port number. And if you'll go there to the view connection details, I think there you will find the username and the password. So you can see that this is the username and this is the password and this is the endpoint. Endpoint means URL. Okay, so just let me try to keep it here. So let's say DB URL is this, and username and password I already have copied there. So don't worry on this. You can copy this endpoint from here or from view connection detail as well. Now we are good. Now you have to go to this particular security groups and you have to make one changes here. So just right click on it, open it in a new tab, and here you have to make one changes. So go to this secure group ID, and if you'll go down, I think it's already there. Okay, so if it is not there in your case, you have to edit inbound rules and you have to add one more rule here. In my case, it is already added, but let me try to delete it out and try to create a new rule again. So you can come here and add rule and make sure this rule is custom TCP, and you have to provide the port number here. So our port number would be 3306, which is the default port for the uh, RDS database. So why it is not coming out? Let me try to delete, refresh this and try to, okay. You have to delete it, save changes. Then again you have to come here, edit inbound rules. Try to add a rule here and make sure the type is custom TCP and the port number is 3306. So 3306, and here you have to provide anywhere, and IP you can choose, either you can choose IPv4 and IPv6 is also fine. I'm going to use the IPv4 here. try to save rules, and we are good. Now let me try to go to the MySQL. Okay, before going there, let me try to come here and refresh this. So I'm going to connect this database that we have created on AWS in my MySQL workbench to show how it is looking like. So how we can connect it is I have to open a new connection. So many times I have connected, so I'm just going to open a new connection here. Or what you can do is I can pick any of them and try to edit the connection here. So if you are doing for you first time, what you have to do is you have to click on this plus icon. It will open up the same page here. You have to provide the connection name. So let's say it is RDS, RDS, or you can say RDS DB. Yeah. AWS RDS DB. Let's say this is the connection name and this is the connection method. Here you have to provide the URL that you copied from the AWS RDS, or you can say the database that we have created on AWS. So I'm just removing this host name and I'm just going to use the one that we have copied. So just copy this, come here and paste it out. This is the port number and the username was admin and the password is password. So copy this password and store in the vault, paste it here. Okay, and then try to test the connection. If everything is fine, it will connect with your RDS database and you can check out the things. So here you can see that successfully made the MySQL connection. Click OK, and then what you can do is just cancel this, and here you can see this is the connection that we have created. Click on it and it will open up the DB connection for you. So just wait for a few seconds. It will take few seconds of time. Don't worry on this. And once it is up, we'll see how our database is looking like. So basically there would be one database and the name would be like product DB that we have created there. So yeah, you can see that. Yeah, you can see that this is the database that we have created and it is created inside this AWS RDS DB. And this SYS is default database. As of now, inside this database, inside the tables, nothing is there. But once we'll try to run our application with the database details, then it will create the table here. So now come here to our application and try to make the necessary changes here. So we have to replace, like we have to provide the username. So username is admin and the password is password. And here you can see that it is JDBC MySQL, and at the place of localhost you have to provide the URL, or you can say the database endpoint that we copied from the AWS database. So copy this, come here and replace this localhost with the endpoint URL. And this is the port number on which our application is up and running. And our database name is productdb. So you have to change this database name to the one that we have created, which is productdb. So copy this, come here, paste it out, and we are good. Now let me try to run this application. And once we'll run this application, because of this Hibernate DDL auto update configuration, it will automatically create a table for us in our database. Okay, so you will see that if we'll go to this database and then try to refresh it out, here you can see that inside the tables now we have one table which is product, and in this table nothing would be there. So let me try to run the query, select asterisk from product. If you run it, you will find nothing inside it. So because we have not inserted anything now, so we are not getting any result here. So we are good, but you can see that the schema is created, ID, name, price, and the quantity is there. Now if you want to insert something, you can insert it out from here. but I'm not going to insert it from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy this application on the EC2 instance, and then we'll try to hit that EC2 instance, and then we'll try to insert couple of product. Okay, so we are good. Now what we have to do is we are good with the configuration and we are good with everything. Now let me try to go to the pom.xml file here, and if you'll go inside the build, you have to just provide the final name, and this is the jar name that we are going to provide in the final name. So with this name, one jar will be created when we are going to build our application. So just provide the name here. So let's say backend app, something like that. Go to your Maven and then try to execute some Maven goals. So let's say it is clean, install, and here you will find one target folder. You can see that, and inside the target folder, the jar will be created here. So just wait for a few seconds. Okay. Let me try to. Okay, I'm not seeing the option to refresh it out. Let me try to minimize. Mhm. Let me try to load this project from the disk. And here you can see that inside this target folder, this jar is created, which is with the name backend app that we have provided here. So our jar is also created. Now what we have to do is we have to deploy this jar on the EC2 instance that we are going to create in the AWS. So go to the AWS, and here we are good with the database. Now let me try to open a new tab, and let me try to open it here, and there we'll try to create a EC2 instance. So go to the search, try for the EC2 instance, and go inside this EC2 instance. Here you have to create one EC2 instance. So there is a video on my channel where I have already shown you how to deploy your Spring Boot basic application on the EC2 instance. So if you are new to this AWS, how to deploy your Spring Boot application on the AWS, then you can watch it out. Okay, I will provide the video link in the description of this video, so you can directly go there and try to watch it out. Now let me try to create an instance here. So you can see this option of launch instance. Go there and wait for a few seconds. Here you have to provide the uh, name of your application. So let's say it is backend app, and go down. You have to select one of the image. So I'm using this Amazon Linux, and make sure it is a free tier eligible. Go down. Here you have to create a key pair. So this key pair is needed to connect with your EC2 instance from your local. So if you already have created one key pair, you can use that, but I'm going to create a new one. So just click on this create a new key pair, and here you can use when you're using this open SSH, you can use this option which is .pem. I'm going to connect our EC2 instance with this putty. So I'm going to create a key with the .ppk file, and here you have to provide the key name. So let's say backend key, backend app key. Okay, and create this key. It will be downloaded. Okay, make sure this is the key, and just if you want to keep somewhere safe, then create a folder and try to keep this key there. I'm not going to do that. I'm directly going to use from the download, and after that I can delete it out, right? So I'm not going to keep it safe as of now. But if you want to do it, just create a separate folder, try to keep it safe there because we are going to use it in order to connect with our EC2 instance. So the key is created. Now go down and go down and we are good. Now if we'll go to the advanced details, I don't think we require anything to do here. So let me try to minimize it and we are good now. Now just launch this instance and it will take few seconds of time to create the EC2 instance. Here you can see it is created and how we can go there. Go to your instances. There you will find your EC2 instance. So let me try to minimize this. Okay, we cannot do. So let me try to open this EC2 instance that we have created. As of now, you can see that instance state is pending. Now it is running. So we are good. If you'll go to this, your EC2 instance, let me try to deselect this. Go to your instance here that you have created. Go down. Let me try to maximize this. So these are the details related to your EC2 instance that you have created. So here you will find this public IPv DNS. So this is the public URL that you can use in order to connect with your Spring Boot application on the EC2 instance. So I am just going to copy it and keep it safe here. And what else we are going to use is okay. Uh, Let me try to go down. As of now, let this one be the only thing that we are keeping safe. So just keep this public DNS and keep somewhere safe so that you can use it out for the EC2 instance connection as well as you can use it to hit your EC2 instance application, or you can say that the Spring Boot application that you are going to deploy on the EC2. So this is the URL that you have to use. Now we are good. Now the next step is here we have created the EC2 instance for our backend application. Now what we have to do is we have to deploy our jar file that we have created for our backend application on this EC2 instance. So how we can do that? In order to do that, what we have to do is we have to first connect with our EC2 instance from our local. So I'm going to use the putty tool to connect with our EC2 instance from our local. Okay. There is a way you can use the S3 bucket to deploy your jar on your EC2 instance, but I'm going to use putty here. With the help of putty, I'm going to connect with our EC2 instance, and then with the help of WinSCP application, I'm going to deploy my jar to the EC2 instance. So there is a two steps. One is you have to connect with your EC2 instance. For that, we are going to use the putty, and you have to deploy your jar on the EC2 instance. For that, either you can use S3 bucket or I'm going to use the WinSCP here. So there's the two steps. One is the putty one, and then second one is the WinSCP. So let me try to open the putty here. I already have installed. So make sure you install the putty. This would be a prerequisite, you can say. Now here you have to provide the host name. In the host name, you have to provide the same URL that you have copied from the EC2 instance that you have created. So copy this, come here and paste it in the host name. Now we have provided the host name here, and what else we have to do is we have to go to this SSH, go to this auth, and here you can see that we are getting the option to browse. So just browse, and there you have to provide the key that you have downloaded. So you can see that this is the key that we have downloaded when we are creating the EC2 instance. So just select this out and then open it. It will take few seconds of time, or it will ask for the user. So you have to accept it. You have to provide the user here, like login as the user. User should be EC2 hyphen user. Okay. And then it is authenticating with the public key that you have provided, and it is logged in here. So you can see that we are inside our EC2 instance. Now if you'll check here inside the EC2 instance by running this up command like java minus version to see if the Java is there in our EC2 instance or not. So you'll find, okay, I'm not running the correct command. So Java version, you will find that no Java command is there. Okay, so we are not able to get the Java version here. So what we have to do is we have to install Java in our EC2 instance here in order to run our jar that we are going to put inside our EC2 instance. So the basic requirement to run that jar is the Java should be there. So that is why we are going to install the Java here. So there is already a command I have ready. You can use this sudo dnf install Java 17 we are going to install. So just directly come here and let me try to remove. Okay, we are good. Sudo dnf install Java 17 Amazon Coreto. This is the Java that we are going to install here. It will take few seconds of time. It will install the Java here. So make sure this is yes. And once the Java is installed, what we are going to do is we are going to put our jar that we have created inside this EC2 instance. So there we'll need this WinSCP. So we are going to open the WinSCP and connect with the EC2 instance, and then we'll try to move our jar there. So as of now, we you can see that we have installed the Java. So you can check this Java version. You can see that we are getting the Java version, which is Java 17. Now if we'll run this command ls, you won't find any file here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to move our jar inside this EC2 instance. So either you can use S3 bucket to do so. I'm going to use the WinSCP. So just install this app WinSCP and then connect with our EC2 instance. So let me try to go there. Here you have to provide the host name. In the host name, you have to provide the same public DNS that you have copied. Okay. So if you'll go there, this is the public DNS. Copy this. Come here, paste it. The username you have to provide EC2 hyphen user, and then the password you have to select the key that you have downloaded. So go to the advanced and go to this authentication. There you will find this private key file. Click on this option, select your private key, and then OK. Click on the login and it will connect with your EC2. Say yes. So it will connect with your EC2. So you can see that on the right hand side we have connected with our EC2, and on the left hand side this is our local. So we'll go to our application, and in the target folder we have generated our file. So we'll go there and then we'll move this jar file to this EC2 instance on the right side. So let me try to point out to the correct location. So if we'll go to this project, inside this March folder, we have created this backend folder, and inside this we have the application. And if you'll go inside the target, you will find this jar file. So just right click on this jar file and upload it. Okay, it will take few seconds of time. It will upload to the EC2 instance. So you can see that it is uploading, and just wait for a few seconds. I'm not sure why it is taking so much of time. Basically, it is a 2-second process. Am I deploying something wrong or what? Our jar is of I think 4 MB or what? Just wait and then see. Generally, this won't take much time, but I'm not sure why it is taking. But yeah, we are good. And you can see that our jar file is inside our EC2 instance. Now, if you'll go to this putty, here also you can check out by running this command, which is ls. And here you will find this jar. So we are inside our EC2 instance and the jar is also there. We moved our jar from our local to our EC2 instance. Now what we have to do is we have to run this jar file. To run this jar file, we need Java. That is why we install the Java. And the command that we need to run here is java minus jar. And this would be the jar file, which is back and app. And it will make our application up and running. So you can see that our application is started running here. And we are good. Our application is up on the port number 8080. And now what we are going to do is we are going to hit this public DNS that we got from the EC2 instance and then try to see what we are getting here. So come here, provide the port number 8080 and then I'm just going to hit one of the APIs. So let's say the class level mapping was, if we'll go there to the controller, class level mapping was API products, and then to get all the product we are going to use the all. So just come here, paste it out, and then paste all and then see. So I'm not sure why it is taking time. Just wait. Okay, it is failing. Let me try to put the HTTP here. Okay, HTTP colon double forward slash. If it is still failing, I think we have to make one changes in the EC2 instance here. So you have to come here to the EC2 instance and go to your networking and if you'll go down, go to the security and here you'll find this security group here, this one, right? Open it in a new tab. The same changes we have to do what we did in the database. So go to the security group and here you have to go to this edit inbound rules. Now here we have to add one rule which is custom TCP and this time the port number would be 8080 and anywhere and then just save rules. Now we are good. Now we will be able to access these APIs. Now if we'll hit it, You can see that we are getting the response. As of now, we don't have anything inserted in our DB. That is why we are getting the null here. But let me try to insert something here. So how we can insert it out? So just copy this command, sorry, URL, and paste it here, and then change this to the post method. And for post, what was the URL? It is insert, right? So just copy this, come here to the postman, and then insert. And then you have to provide the product that you wanted to insert. So here you can see that in the body, we have provided one product. Its ID is 1, name is magazine, price is 1000, and the quantity is, let's say, 1. And we want to insert it out. So just hit this, and then you will see. You can see that in the response, we are getting 200. That means okay. And you can see in the response, we are getting that particular product that we have inserted. Now, if you'll go there and try to hit this Git API, you'll find one product here. You can see that magazine is coming here. So that means our backend application is deployed successfully on the AWS with the database also, right? So everything is working fine. Let me try to summarize you what we did. We have created one AWS RDS database, and we tried to connect that AWS RDS database with our Spring Boot application. We created a jar out of our Spring Boot application, and then went back to the AWS, created one EC2 instance here, and then with the help of the EC2 instance, we deployed our jar to this EC2 instance with the help of putty and WinSCP. And then once the jar is deployed, we tried running that jar, and then we tried hitting that public DNS provided by the EC2 instance, and then we are good, right? And our application is successfully deployed. You can see that this is the public DNS. So with the help of this, you can hit your APIs. You can see this. So everything is working fine. You can try out the update and delete APIs as well. Let me try out the delete one and then see how it is working. Before going to delete, let me try to insert another product. Let's say 2, ID is 2, let's say it is book, and the price and the quantity, let it be. So insert this again. It is also inserted. Try to see. You can see we are getting 2 products. Now let me try to delete one of them. Go to the delete, and the additional URI for the delete is delete, I think so, or it is delete by ID. Let me try to check. So here you can see that it is delete by ID. So you have to provide the ID of the product that you wanted to delete. So let's say we are going to delete the product 2, and then okay, yeah, delete it. So you can see that we are getting 200. That means the product is deleted. So you can check it out. Come here to the URL, sorry, browser, and try to see. So you can see as of now we have only one magazine as a product here. And if you want to check out those details, you can also check it from the database, because locally also we have connected with our AWS database. So you can see that magazine is coming here. So this is how you can deploy your Spring Boot application with the CRUD operation along with the database on your AWS with the help of EC2 and the AWS RDS. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.